Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're unpacking, well, honestly, one of the most fascinating historical paradoxes of all time. I mean, imagine for a second, you are the absolute most powerful person on the planet, a person whose single word could move entire armies, whose everyday decisions dictated the fate of millions, and who had access to just unimaginable, limitless wealth. You'd think a guy in that position, if he sat down to write a book, would write some ruthless manual on how to seize power or crush his enemies, right? But no, that's not what happened at all. Instead, this ruler wrote a secret diary, literally just a private collection of notes to himself on how to be a better, calmer, more grounded human being. We're talking, of course, about Marcus Aurelius and his legendary work, Meditations.
So setting the stage here, Section 1, The Emperor's Secret Diary. Picture this, it's nearly 2,000 years ago, and every single day, Marcus Aurelius woke up to a staggering contrast. On one hand, you've got his external reality, nonstop wars, vicious politics, betrayals, and just the immense, crushing pressure of holding power over millions of lives. It is the ultimate high-stress environment. But on the other hand, you have his internal focus. Instead of letting all that chaos just completely consume him, he'd sit down in his tent, often literally right next to a battlefield, and write these deeply sincere self-help notes to himself, reminding himself how to stay calm, how to manage stress, how to not give in to anger. And the crazy thing, these notes were never meant for publication. They were entirely for his own mental survival. Yet, this intimate little diary survived and is now one of the most influential guides on human psychology we have today.
So the crucial point is, what was his actual operating system for reacting to the world? Let's look at Section 2, the core Stoic philosophy. I actually want to slow down here for a sec and let you really absorb this. Stoicism is the understanding that we cannot control what happens around us, but we absolutely control our reaction to it. Sounds incredibly simple, right? But the depth of this is profound. The central thesis of Aurelius's writings is that the vast majority of our suffering doesn't actually come from the events themselves. People suffer because of their thoughts about those events. The event is just a neutral fact. Your reaction to it is the thing that actually creates your stress. I mean, think about the things we simply have zero control over. Sitting in terrible traffic, facing unexpected criticism from a boss, bad weather ruining your weekend, or just a sudden failure. By themselves, these things are completely neutral. They just are. The everyday suffering we experience only pops up when we resist reality. When we scream at the traffic or agonize over the rain. The only things we genuinely control are our thoughts and our reactions. Aurelius trained himself to view his internal mind as a fortress under siege. The outside world is going to constantly throw everything it has at your walls, but you and only you dictate what actually happens inside the fortress.
And to build that impenetrable fortress, we use Section 3, the dichotomy of control. It's basically a mental tool specifically designed for directing your energy.
This gives us a totally brilliant algorithm for peace of mind. Step 1. When a problem pops up, ask yourself, can I influence this? Step 2. If the answer is yes, take action. No complaining, just act. Step 3. If the answer is no, you have to let it go. Most of our modern anxiety comes from completely obsessing over Step 3. Stoicism teaches us to direct our precious mental energy exclusively to the areas where we actually have influence. Everything else, it's just noise outside the fortress walls.
Let's move to his second major idea, which is a powerful way to deal with the most chaotic variable of all, other people. The rule is simple. It is not about you. It is about them. We take so much offense when people wrong us, but Aurelius viewed this entirely differently. Look, people will inevitably make mistakes. They'll act rudely and they will do stupid things. It's simply a part of human nature. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of this fact. Since flaws and bad behavior are literally baked into the human condition, why on earth should we act surprised or outraged when we encounter them? When someone acts out, whether a driver cuts you off or a troll leaves a toxic comment on your social media, that is a reflection of their character, not yours. Don't act shocked. Now, we're going to shift into a concept that might sound a little, dark at first glance. But for Aurelius, it was actually a profound source of personal freedom. Section 4, Freedom in Mortality.
Memento Mori. Remember, you are mortal. Let the weight of that famous Latin phrase sink in for just a second. In our modern world, we try to avoid thinking about death at all costs, right? We push it away. But Aurelius kept this truth front and center in his mind every single day. Because when you truly accept that your time is limited, the outcomes are incredibly liberating. Suddenly, you have way less reason to worry over trifles. Someone was rude to you, a random stranger disagreed with you online. Who cares? Your time is finite. This realization totally cures you of obsessing over small problems. It shatters your procrastination, and it gives you every single reason to take meaningful action today. It brings a razor-sharp focus to what actually matters. And what does actually matter? That brings us to section 5, character over external success. The contrast between these two mindsets is particularly striking today. I mean, modern success is so often measured by money, the number of followers you have, or your perceived social status. But Stoic success? It's measured entirely by character and acting with dignity. Aurelius didn't care about his vast wealth or his imperial titles. Every day he asked himself one simple question: am I acting worthily? He understood that true success isn't about the external validation you accumulate. It's about the person you become internally. Which leads to this core Stoic directive: do your job, not for praise, but because it is right. A major misconception about Stoicism is that it's about being emotionless, running away to hide from the world. It's absolutely not. It's about deeply engaging with the world. It's about fulfilling your role, working honestly, and helping others, but doing it without expecting a reward, a round of applause, or a like on your post. You do it simply because it is the right thing to do. Now, what's really interesting is how easily we can bring this 2,000-year-old philosophy directly into our highly distracted modern lives. Section 6, Stoicism and Daily Practice. Let's walk through how to handle criticism. Imagine you get a harsh email from your boss or some negative comment on social media. Step 1, ask yourself, is there useful information here? Step 2, if yes, extract that value and use it to improve. Step 3, if no, if it's just venting or thoughtless negativity, let it go. Do not let it breach your internal fortress. You don't have to suffer emotionally just because someone else lacks manners. And when dealing with anxiety, like when you feel a panic cycle starting because you're overwhelmed by a flood of news or those endless social media notifications are just bombarding your screens, immediately divide the situation. Ask, what do I control and what do I not control? The 24/7 news cycle, the app algorithms, not in your control. But turning off those notifications or putting your phone in another room so you can focus, absolutely in your control. You halt the panic by working only on that first part. You protect the fortress. And when you inevitably catch yourself mindlessly doom-scrolling or procrastinating on important tasks, remember the simple truth. Time is limited. Act now. It is literally the ultimate cure for our modern digital distractions. Don't waste your finite, mortal life on things that don't add to your character or your goals. Which brings us to our final thought. The core truth of meditations is that life will always have friction. The world will always be difficult. Plans will fall apart. People will make mistakes. But Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we do not need to control the world to be at peace. We only need to control ourselves. So as you step back into the chaos and noise of your own life today, I'll leave you with this one empowering question. How will you choose to react?